Here's the brutal biology lesson they don't teach in school. A woman's brain literally rewires itself as she ages. The chemical reward system that made her feel alive at 25, by 45, it's running on fumes. Because they're bad people, but because they're starving for something you can't give them anymore. But when a 42-year-old gets that same compliment, her brain explodes with dopamine. That single compliment from a stranger becomes more valuable than 10 years of your devotion. This is the dirty secret nobody tells you. Married women over 40 are the easiest targets for seduction. Not because they're bad people, but because they're starving for something you can't give them anymore. Now she remembers what it felt like to be pursued, to be desired, to be someone's fantasy instead of someone's reality. And that memory becomes an itch that your stable, predictable love can never scratch. This is why women's most vicious betrayals happen after 35. Not because they're evil, but because they're desperate to feel alive. Again, but women, society tells them they're expired goods, past their prime, invisible. Women face it with terror. Female midlife crises are about denying aging through destroying everything that reminds them time has passed, including the family that represents their years spent as just a wife and mother. When you understand female psychology at this age, you realize it's not personal. She's not running to something better. She's running from something inevitable, not for signs of cheating, but for signs of panic, the obsession with youth, the nostalgia for the past, the sudden need for validation, the resentment of responsibility. These are the warning signs that she's about to detonate. Women over 40 don't just leave, they destroy, not because they're evil, but because they're terrified. Terrified of aging, terrified of invisibility, terrified of being ordinary. Don't say you weren't warned.
Oh my God.